going to be the best ever Player Series interview. Today, I will be interviewing my brother Mark, and Mark will be interviewing me. And hopefully this will give you, shed some new light on us. You'll get to know things about us you did not know, maybe more than you want to know. But mostly, I'm just hoping this is an experience for you and me, Mark, to get to know each other better and to experience our own self in a deeper way.
Yeah, no, this will be a really good time of really deep reflection. I'm sure of it, where we really
very serious, somber moment to talk about fantasy football and other crazy, wacky things. But let's get started. So, Mark, the first question that I can think of to ask you is a serious one. It's a matter of so I know I bring a lot to this podcast,
yeah.
but I would like to know, what do you think I bring to this podcast that you may not?
Well, first of all, I just want to start. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate the invite. And second, I'm really glad that the first question was to me talk about you. So what do you what do you bring? So obviously you're the creative engine behind this, between the podcast, between the league, venturing out to kind of create and start something new and kind of keep pushing what we can do. I think that you kind of got bored of the yearly fantasy football first, and I think as most things end up going, you go out first and I kind of help out and bounce ideas off and direct us. So I'm going to reverse the question on you to hear your thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that in a second, but I think you should keep going for a moment.
Oh, sorry. I'm getting off track talking about myself. So yeah, the creative engine, obviously you started this, you do all the graphics, and I would definitely kind of sit on in terms of the creative aspect of these things. Is definitely your bent.
Yeah, no, I think.
Did you want to weigh in on that? Add anything?
Okay, so obviously this interview is going to be awkward, and that's cool. The real truth is we called everybody, and everyone said they didn't want to do it this week. So we said, all right, fine. Yeah. Come up with something creative. We'll give you a little inside scoop here. But this is on you guys. This is not us. This is weird. This is you. You were like, oh, I'm busy. It's a pandemic. What are you doing? Yeah, anyway, moving on. But anyway, Mark, you and I have always kind of been the catalyst of anything sports related or fantasy related in the Heater household. So you and I have always commissioned, whether one of us commissions or both of us commissions, we've kind of run everything through each other. So like you're saying, yeah, I think I'm usually the first one to bring something up, but you are like the sounding board for sure. And you're the ones to kind of smooth out my crazy edges. So I shoot for the moon, and sometimes you say, that's great, but we don't have enough rope there. Come on back down. And you make a little bit more of an experience that other people can handle, and that they'll be interested in. So, I mean, I think in the years past, in some of our fantasy leagues, you somehow managed to get mom and dad to join in on that. Our brother Dawson, who could care less about it, you've managed to talk him down from the ledge and to join our fantasy football leagues. This year we tried a best ball league for the first time. My idea, but you helped to kind of round that out. And then we tricked our brother-in-law into commissioning in it so that we don't have to actually change all the stats like he's doing. But yeah, I mean, ultimately I feel like you are a good sidekick to my superhero, Mark.
As long as I'm not the villain.
No, you are definitely the Robin to my Batman. And I will say that I think when we're talking about physique, you fill out the tights better than I do. So.
Well,
is that what you were looking for? Or did Did you did you want more? Do you want less?
Oh, maybe a little less there at the end.
More or less stuff? Yeah. Okay.
No, I think I do want to say that the best ball, it was nice getting Dawson involved here. We had to update him that there have been some things changed since the last time we played fantasy football. No longer was D'Angelo Williams the star. David Johnson, who actually.
Yeah, that worked out in his favor. I think he thought he was still on his original team, but he was a little surprised to see him on the Texans. Didn't he try to draft Brett Favre? Was that what he did?
Look, it was. I talked him off a lot of ledges.
Yeah. Well, it was just funny because he's like, well, I know he retired, but like he's come back like so many times. It's probably in my favor that he's on a roster right now. Like those are fair odds, but no.
He may have had a better shot with that than I do with Antonio Brown. We'll see.
We shall see. All right. Well, I don't have anything else to add to that one.
I would also say for Jared, I think he's jumped in here as well, especially in terms of best ball. I know he was on the ahead of me. I think that was a little more your guys' baby, and I just talked to Mom and Dawson and sweet talk to people, and I know he's doing that. And I know 2 at a time. We'll see what all that holds for our league.
Sure. One other thing I feel like you added as well, though, was like to our dynasty league. You added more than half the teams. You definitely have more friends than I do, so that was good. That was a nice contribution that you made. And on top of that, like a serious note, you bring more the analytical side. You're really good with some of the statistical analysis with the teams, and are always definitely like the person that I would call and ask, hey, does this sound like a good trade? Or, hey, like you're always the first person I think of to call when something sports related happens in my life. And on a serious note, even more so, I would say just anything that happens in my life anymore. You've definitely gotten a lot closer through this experience. And I don't know if that's a pandemic speaking, and I have no one else to talk to, and
all isolated. So we play Xbox.
Yeah, we play Xbox, and we eat frozen pizzas, and it's exciting. It's like living the bachelor life again.
Yeah, no, I would echo that, man. I appreciate you and I guess we are getting the sappiness. I think it was sarcastic at the beginning.
The tears are flowing.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So on a more serious note, who's your favorite Washington team?
Washington, as in like the DC area. So growing up in DC, there weren't many options. They all were pretty bad. But no, for me, it's always been the Washington football team is what we're going with. They were formerly known as a different name, but
which might be sticking around. Did you see that from Jason Wright?
That seriously, like, can we come up with something like? I don't know. This is bad. Anyway, so growing up in the DC area, I went to a lot of different sports events, lots of different fun stuff. But I had to be a football fan. One, because it's a big deal in our family, but mostly because it was in my blood right.
You had a good start. You couldn't have had a better start.
I could not have had a better start. So, my birthday, January 31st. 1988. If you are a sports fan, then you'll know that happens to fall on the Super Bowl. Now, you may wonder who played in the Super Bowl on that day. Yes, you were right. It was the Washington, formerly known as something else, football team, playing the Denver Broncos. And Mark and I grew up in a very conservative family. My dad was a pastor, and they worked at one of those stupid churches that thinks that Sunday nights is sacred and that you need a service, which on normal weeks would be fine. But there's 1 or 2 weeks a year that you could probably cancel it. One of them being the Super Bowl, and this church was like, no, this is important. We need to be there. And we expect you to be there as well. So my dad's like, that's fine. So then he pulled my mom aside.
Who are in Washington is the home team for this.
It's not even just like a Super Bowl. It is the Super Bowl for that area. But anyway, all that to say, they were going to have to miss the game. So my dad pulled my mom aside. And he's like, I need to have a conversation with our son. So he grabs my mom's stomach and talks to me directly and says, Eric, I need you to make some magic happen. So naturally, I'm an obedient son. I did. And my mom went into labor. And they went to the hospital. This was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But I was like, oh, my dad's going to miss it if I don't hurry this up. So I got the umbilical cord. I wrapped it around my throat. I turned blue. I made it into an emergency C-section. Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, really sorry, Mom.
You got to do what you got to do. And I was delivered around 4:35 p.m. And
just in time for what?
4:35 p.m. My mom was able to, take a little nap, rest a little bit. Yeah. My dad went into the lounge, was able to, put the TV on. Lo and behold, there's a Super Bowl going on. And his favorite team was playing. He got to watch the whole thing, thanks to me. And on top of that, it wasn't just that. It was a damn good Super Bowl. And the Washington team ended up winning. They were down 10-0 going into the second quarter. They scored the most points ever in a quarter. I think it was 35 points in that second quarter or something like that. Ended up winning the game 42-10. Not that I've studied this or anything, but at that point it was kind of written in stone. I was going to have to be a Washington football fan, and I think that was the last moment of celebration I ever had as a football fan. No,
they had two more.
They had a couple more in the 90s, but I'm going to be honest. I don't actually remember any of those. And I just remember all the doom and gloom. I remember the woulda, coulda, shouldas, the RG3s, the Brad Johnson in a playoff game, then watching Brad Johnson win a Super Bowl with the Buccaneers. That's been more the experience. So all that to say with Washington in general, I kind of missed all the good stuff. Capitals winning recently. I'm not in that area anymore. I cheered for them, but it's just not the same. And I only really cheered when I was in the area. The Nationals came about after I'd left, so I think you're probably more of a Nationals fan than I am. And then I was there for the Bullets. Turned Wizards.
With Washington teams. Yeah.
Yeah. You'd think being somewhere so close to, all the politics that are deciding they could have picked better names that weren't so, divisive. But, what about you, bud? What team would you go with?
Hard to follow that because I would say in 1995, I think that's right when it started, our QB carousel. So I've just missed those three. I think 92 is the last Super Bowl. Missed that. And up until, I think it was the Capitals, I hadn't seen one championship from a Washington team in my lifetime. Then we got the Capitals and the Nationals. The Nationals was the most fun for me. But just kind of growing up in a football house and Washington football team being it, that's still, unfortunately,
why didn't you go with the Ravens, Mark? Because you could have had a couple Super Bowls there.
Yeah, I personally, the team name wasn't necessarily, perfectly clean. At least we didn't murder people. I mean, I think that's
allegedly. Okay, Ray Lewis got off for that. That was not him.
Yeah. So
or beat people, Ray Rice.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think we should continue down this list, Mark, because I think there's some questionable characters in any NFL team as well. But yeah, no, we're not the Washington team. They're totally clean. They haven't done any scandals recently.
No.
With their
top to the bottom, we're good.
Top to bottom, totally clean. Definitely a very women-friendly environment. So I would not worry at all about working for that team. What's going on? So you're saying the Washington football team would be your choice as well?
Yeah, I'll just say that. And honestly, I feel teased once again. Jason Wright, really fun. Rivera, really fun. Bringing in it seems like we have an actually damn good culture now. We'll see.
We're winning on and off the field as of this week. But yeah, we'll see.
Which Rivera, Victory Monday for Rivera, having his last cancer treatment. That was pretty cool.
That was pretty exciting. I feel like I'm curious to know what your favorite memories are from different events going and such. I know for me, I feel like every time I go to a Washington football game, they lose. I don't feel like I've actually ever seen them win in person. Seen them win lots of times on TV, but whenever I go in person, they lose.
Lots of times might be a bit much.
Over my 32 years of existence, yeah, I would say I've seen them at least 10 times. So, yeah, that's pretty good. So, what are some of your favorite experiences? Because I feel like you've gone to a lot more games than I have. Other than
I'm trying to think of, because I think part of it was also, I think to kind of answer that, when you went away to college, I think that's kind of main time for the games. We probably got once or so a year. I do feel like it definitely went on once a year, but I probably every other year we probably got to game, whether preseason or regular. Yeah. Fortunately, you have to have really, really, really good luck to get a good Washington game to attend. I do feel like I saw a couple wins, but honestly, the only thing that sticks out to me, unfortunately, is in the opposite direction, where we were supposed to both go to the fateful game of Washington versus Texans, and for
with our
scheduling, scheduling and everything going on, ended up being just me and Mom, and that was when Alex Smith got tackled and basically lost his leg. So I was there for that game, which I remember watching it, and it's weird because obviously I'm not on the ground and I'm not anywhere, so I could barely see it. Everyone else was watching all the replays and everything. So to me, I was oh, I wonder what happened. It's getting carted off. That stinks. And you get home and watch it, and it's oh, that was bad.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was insane. I'm surprised you went with that one. But I guess that just shows what a selfless person you are. Because I remember of another time when you, me, and Dee went to a football game together, and at FedEx Field. And it was nice. It was it was our first trip, just the three of us to go do something like that. Dawson really wanted to get cigars because he was finally of age for that. So we're sure, dude, we can do cigars if you want. So I think we smoked a cigar or two in the parking lot, and then ate some Subway sandwiches or something ridiculous that we had picked up on the way. Not amazing tailgate food or anything, but we were eating something, and you must have gotten something some food poisoning or something nasty, because you all of a sudden were not feeling well. And I remember you spent most of the game puking in the bathroom, and which was hilarious because everyone assumed that you were just like
trash.
You were just trashed. You were wasted. And they're like, dude, I've been there. That sucks. And you're like, no, I ate a bad sandwich. I ate a bad sandwich. I promise I wasn't drinking. Yeah, that was a bad game too to watch. We were playing the Panthers that year.
I remember being surprisingly cold, and I remember also shaking. Like, just like in that stadium, like, I don't know. I feel like FedEx kind of whips the wind a little bit too. Definitely not like the Meadowlands, but
well, and it was probably November or something like that, so it was already cold. Yeah. And then you were sick. You were like pale as a ghost.
Yeah.
And I think we looked over at D, and about the third quarter, we just were like, all right, let's just go.
Yeah.
I think we let you go home early that day because the Washington never even showed up for the game. So.
And if anyone knows me, cigars I do not have a taste for cigars. So I probably took, like, I don't even know if I tried it. I may have tried it, but I did not smoke enough for that to be it. It was just stomach bug and like
something with that sandwich or something. Yeah, it was gross. It was nasty. Yeah. So, I mean, along the same vein, then we'll move on because other people don't really care about this as much as you and I probably do. But reminiscing our sports past here. Can you think of a non-football experience that you appreciated? And if you need a moment, I can go.
Of us. Is that what we're?
It doesn't have to be us. It could be anyone. Like, just like what is your favorite moment
of my lifetime? Like,
well, like a Washington team that's not the Washington football team.
Okay. I thought you were like, what's your favorite memory in life?
No. So here, okay. I'll go first. I'll give you an example since my question was so poorly worded. So for me, I got to go see a Wizards game with my buddy from high school, right? We got tickets. We were like upper deck somewhere, nothing crazy. When all of a sudden he gets a text message from his dad, and his dad's like, "Hey, are you at the game?" And he's like, "Yeah, why?" He's like, "Because I'm also at the game." I was like, "Okay, cool." Come to find out, his dad had season tickets on the floor. So his dad was like, "Yeah, I mean, I get to come all the time. I saw I saw something you posted on Facebook that you're coming to the game tonight. I didn't realize it. So you want to switch seats tonight?" So about the second period, we went down to the floor level and they switched seats with us, and we got to sit there right on the side on the floor of the court. And I can tell you right now, I've never seen a human being that large before. Like up close, like apparently 6'8" or whatever. That is ridiculously tall. It was incredible. I think it was probably just like a preseason. Like I don't think it was anything crazy. I think it was an exhibition game of some kind. But it was so cool to be that close to the court for the first time ever and seeing those massive individuals running around.
So I'm trying to remember. Would there be anyone, like, is that before Gilbert Arenas, Antoine Jameson, and those guys? Or is there anyone that stuck out?
So who was that guy that used to play for the Maryland Terps?
Oh, Juan Dixon?
Yeah, Juan Dixon was there at that time. I think also that really ridiculously tall guy who wasn't really that good, but he bounced around. He was like 7'4".
Wait, is that
George?
Or
he was like George something.
Okay.
Anyway, he was ridiculously tall. He was he was there.
Not a lot to remember in terms of the Wizards.
No,
they really are pretty.
It was pretty lame. Claim to fame though, I did get to see Michael Jordan play for the Wizards. I got to go see a game with that. I went with the Powers back in the day.
That's cool.
He took me. Micah took me to a game. So that was pretty cool. I mean, I think they lost anyway, but it's still fun to see Michael play.
Yeah. Well, thank you for giving me time.
Yeah. I was like, do I have to keep going, or did you finally figure something out?
So, I was trying to think. So I'll go game day and just in general, like the Nationals was definitely the most fun, like sports experience, just from them being at the trade deadline. Like, are we selling our roster because we're in like last place in NL East, or I don't even know what it was. I think we had like 37 wins. Like we were definitely like sub 500 or at 5 or below 5. And they decided to like double down, bought a couple relievers, and then we just made this incredible run through that, snuck into the playoffs, go way down, have to come back, win the playoff game, get the next one, and just feel like every time we're just like barely made it. And then to finally get that was the first championship that felt like that's like my championship to follow.
You followed the whole thing.
We did it. But the Capitals was more just like, oh, they're good. I'll start tracking that. Nationals that I've been tracking the whole time. So, side note, John Staggers and I almost bought tickets to that game, to the wild card where we came back and got the whole thing started. But it didn't work out for like scheduling and such for me to drive down. And we decided not to do it, but I was disappointed. That was really fun. Then I did go to a Capitals game, and this was my only hockey experience in person. That was with John as well. And we got like box seats. We got I think it was through his sister Ian's work or something like that. And we got like unlimited buffet, unlimited drinks, and like it was my first hockey experience. And I don't think I can ever go back now. Just for like a regular. No.
Yeah, for sure. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, I never really got on board with the Nats just because I was out of town. I mean, I watched it and I knew you liked it and Mom was kind of following it, so I followed it and it was pretty cool, but it didn't give me the feels.
Yeah, I mean is that college when the Nationals started? College for you?
For me, yeah, it was in college. Yeah. But not the championship.
Yeah.
I was out of college for quite a while at that point. All right. Well, so for those that are listening here,
wild card.
I was going to say Mark and I kind of, we plan these questions out a little bit so we don't, sound like completely flat-footed when we answer. But we thought it'd be fun to each come up with a question for the other person that the other person has no idea is coming. We call this our wild card round. So, Mark, do you want to receive your wild card question first or give me your wild card question?
Well, not knowing, which is the better one and which should be second or so. Talk to me a little bit about how you're feeling about the question for me.
I think my question is subpar at best. No, I have a good question, but I don't think it's going to be earth shattering.
Okay. Well, then, how about you start? Because I feel like I have an okay one.
All right, cool. All right. Well, so, Mark, I want you to relive in detail your best sports moment, personally. What do you think was the pinnacle of your sports career? A moment that, if it could be captured in an ESPN documentary, this is what you'd want us to focus on. This is what you want people to know about Mark, the athlete.
So, try and think. A couple came to my mind because as a longtime athlete, when you're just not doing anything, no matter how old I'll get, I'll always think about childhood plays. For some reason, I think at 57, I'll be thinking about me playing elementary baseball.
Just explains how boring your life is, but go
very boring, very boring. So the one that stood out to me was a soccer tournament that we had in high school, where it was the dumbest setup in terms of it was a 4-team tournament. The other schools we had public schools in this tournament, or like at least bigger private schools, and we were this dinky school with 100 kids, K to 12. So this is high school. So I was the goalie for our team, and played really well during the tournament. And we ended up, they did it so silly. They didn't use goal differential as a tiebreaker. They just did the straight record. So we got smashed one game, but overall there was a 3-way tie of the 4 teams with record. So they did a 3-way PK shootout where the team with the highest goal differential got a bye. And so we were the lowest goal differential playing the second goal differential. And the first wave, they did not score 1 PK on me. And so I saved 2 of them, or I saved 1 of them, and a couple others just missed. And then the second round, 1 guy scored on me, but the other ones, I saved another 1 or 2, and they missed. So in the end, it was like a 1 goal to like 7 PKs for that tournament. And it was super fun. Like I would, just looking at them, I would jump back and forth, and it was one of the more fun moments. Under the lights, it was just all day thing. It was really fun. That's a really good question. Yours may end up being better than mine, because mine's now not as serious in that regard. But would you like me to as well?
To answer my own question? Myself? I feel like, for me, the pinnacle of my sports career was pretty lame. I wasn't really ever, I was always good at sports, but I was never really a master at any of them. I'm always great for pickup, if that makes sense. Because I'm just naturally good at sports, but once you get to that competitive level, that was kind of fades off a little bit. But for me, mine would be fantasy football. Oh, fantasy football. Yes, fantasy football. That's what's good. That's a Freudian slip. But what I was trying to say was flag football in college. So we had this flag football intramural league in college, and we were playing against this one team that it was always by your dorm floors is how they had it broken up or whatever. So there's this one dorm floor that's notorious for actually being the floor where all the actual sports athletes play. They end up getting in the same dorm together. So the ones that actually play on the real college teams. So in their off season, they can play intramurals every once in a while. Each school's different, I know. But anyway, these guys were the actual athletes of the school, and they were also huge. Okay, so we're playing flag football, but these guys didn't realize we're playing flag football. They were playing tackle football, and that week was one of those weird weeks where we could barely field a team. So I ended up playing a fullback role, which I'm not really that kind of a player, but we didn't have anybody on the line, and I played defense more than I played offense, so they brought me in for fullback. All that to say, there's this guy on the other side of the field that got recruited to play D1 football, but was I'd rather go to school for Jesus, so he went to our school and to be a pastor, and apparently this was his one moment to live out his D1 experience. Mm-hmm. He's lined up, and it is now my responsibility to protect my quarterback from this D1 lineman. So I said, you know what? I'm doing it. Because, it's flag football, so it's you can't really extend your arms or anything. but nobody's going to tell the little guy going up against the big guy, like, they're going to let me break the rules a little bit.
Yeah.
So the first play, I let him come at me. I just kind of grabbed and held on, and it just kind of worked my way around just to kind of get the feel of what is going to happen. The next play, though, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to put him on his butt. So I faked like I was going to go out for a play, like a wheel route or something, because I'm playing the field fullback role. I turn away. I then go and I just bury my shoulder into his stomach, pushed him down, and then the quarterback was able to just kind of run out for a play and do whatever. And he got up so mad. He looks at me, and he looks at the ref and he's like, "That's not allowed." And the ref's like, "Really, dude?"
Yeah.
The ref didn't care. And at that moment, the rest of the game was absolutely miserable. Like, he just hurt me the entire time. And I was able to kind of protect the quarterback as best I could. But that was my moment of glory of, I put a D1 lineman on their back. Don't mess with me, bro.
That's a good one. So, Eric.
Yes.
I have this incredible question for you. It's a really, really good one. I'm really glad that we saved it for a second because it's thought-provoking, and I'm really interested in the answer here. So, as I think everyone is aware of this in some sort of, it gets reworded in a lot of different ways, but the same sort of premise. Kiss, marry, and we are going to say remove from Washington.
So not kill. Okay.
Especially with the context, that would have been extremely terrible. Also, I think that it's just also in better taste to word it this way. But you'll find out in a moment that it's Doug Williams, Darryl Green, and Sean Taylor.
Gosh. Yeah, that would don't kill the man twice. All right, that's ridiculous.
I thought I went with the question first, then I was thinking of people, and those were the top three that I tried to pick what the top three would be for you in your life, in your Washington experience.
So this is the PG version too. It's kiss, marry, kill.
Kiss, marry, kill. Yeah. Kiss, no, not kill. Washington, remove.
Kiss, marry, erased from existence. Got it. All right. Well, I think I would have to pay homage to Sean Taylor. So I would kiss Sean Taylor in loving memory of who he was at his wake, just to commemorate and maybe have some sort of memento, some sort of token to hold on to. I'd probably marry Darryl Green. Because as a stand-up guy, and I just feel like of the options, he'd be the most agreeable to live with. And
very loyal.
Very loyal. We'd have lots of money. Maybe he'd be my sugar daddy. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Doug Williams, unfortunately, is the only leftover option, and I think I would erase him from existence.
I wasn't saying from existence, just from Washington.
No, he would.
Okay.
So I would remove him from Washington because he only played with us for one season, and he actually they went back and forth that season. So even though it's the year that I was born, the Super Bowl that they won on the day of my birth, it's quite possible that they could have still won with a different quarterback, since that whole season they flip-flopped back and forth anyway. So that's what I'm telling myself. If you listen to this, Doug Williams, I do appreciate you. I think you're wonderful. My brother Mark is the one who has required me to remove you from this conversation. So don't be mad at me. And actually, I have a jersey I'd love for you to sign. But
you're going to remove him from Washington and then put a plug in to get his autograph.
I'm not. You are. You're doing this.
Well, I didn't say that we should remove him. You're the one that said.
What was I going to do? Am I going to remove Dale Green? He's practically a saint. And then am I going to remove Sean Taylor?
Yes.
No. Sean Taylor died saving the ones he loved. I think he's been through enough.
Yeah.
You put me in it. You don't put baby in the corner.
I can't believe you picked that, man. That's actually good. I'm just kidding. So I'm glad that I went second. I think that was great.
Yeah,
great question.
So much better than yours.
It was.
It's cool. Any last thoughts here before we call it quits? The only question I don't think we addressed on our list was who's worse, Eagles fans or Pats fans?
And so this is tough. So I'll go at it because my school's in right outside Philadelphia. Most of the people in our league are Eagles fans, and that was most of my college experience. So naturally, rubbing shoulders and that being the whole kind of area, you get annoyed at their fan base. I also think that they, in as much as they say it was one time that they were snowballs at Santa, I do think that's a pretty, obviously it's just an analytical, but a very, very good one. No, that's not the right word.
No, it's not, but
anecdotal. Oh my goodness. Anecdotal.
Yeah. We can try to analyze what you were thinking, but
so it's an anecdotal, very well analyzing the situation.
Yeah.
Okay. Exemplifying.
You brought it back. Good.
Yeah. No, I didn't. That didn't go well.
Keep going. It's fine.
I think that I would say that there's a mixture of my location, and I really do genuinely think that for the fan base, I really do think that they're the worst fan base, to be honest.
I think they're sore winners, personally.
I think... Say that again, we cut out. What was that?
No, it's okay. I was going to say, I think they're sore winners. I just don't think they win.
Yeah.
Like, that whole saying, like, act like you've been there before. Like, well, the thing is they haven't, okay? They won one Super Bowl, and they think they're the bee's knees. And you don't even have the quarterback on your team that won you that Super Bowl. Instead,
another Saint.
Yeah.
Nicholas.
St. Nicholas. And I don't think we can say his actual nickname on the podcast, but all you Eagles fans know what I'm about to say, but not say.
You're about to say? Okay.
Big Nick. All right.
Saint Nick.
Big Saint Nick. He totally got you a Super Bowl, and then what did you do? You kicked him out of town. And he's now bounced around from team to team. He's no longer has that same mentality. He's not able to play anymore. This is all on you guys. And
his career. No, I think you bring up a really good point.
Yeah, I think his career's over, and it's all your fault. And then Wentz. Wentz. He's broken. Like, could he be a good quarterback? Sure. But he is a shell of a man now. He's scared to death with the line that you created for him. And all that to say, yeah, you guys won one Super Bowl. Big whoop. We won 3 Super Bowls. You don't hear us talking about it all the time. Like, it's not a big deal. You guys aren't that great. You're filthy. You're filthy Eagles. And you are a dirty bird, and you guys are stone throwers in glass houses at St. Nicholas's. And I just think, as someone who lives in New England and absolutely loathes the New England fan base, they have every right to be as obnoxious as they are. They are now starting to experience what it's like to be an actual football fan. And for that, I thank God every day. But at the same time, like, you can't argue with their obnoxious behavior. You can't argue with their ridiculous stories and the amount of time that they brag about the past, and like they're reminiscing and their stupid parades, all this kind of stuff. You can't argue with it. It's there. I mean, Tom Brady, greatest quarterback of all time. Absolutely. There's no argument. But
linking up with the greatest receiver of all time, Antonio Brown, right there as well.
Yeah. That's one version of the story for sure. But all that to say, yes, I don't like the Patriots. Yes, I love watching them fall apart right now. But the Eagles will always be the scum of the earth.
On that note, there was one thing that I wanted to bring up during this time. And after your apology to Douglas Williams, I wanted to give a formal apology to Rock Cartwright. I'm sorry for you, Rock. When we were talking about the times with Redskins memories, wow, Washington memories.
I'm going to start editing these.
I'm so sorry. Washington memories. When we would go to training camps, and this is one of the big perks of having a big cheek, especially as a toddler. Kids, those players felt bad, and I got a lot of good signatures.
Go give a signature to the ugly kid.
Yeah, no, I would you can make it look like you have an IV in, or you have just really lean into it. And
get snot dripping out of his face. Sometimes he had a trach. It was great.
That's true, but so that was early on. So man, I should have really leaned into that one too.
You could have just put it on. Nobody would know. You still have the scar.
No, yeah. So I got Santana Moss. I got we got Joe Gibbs. We got Sean Taylor. We've got at one point Darryl Green. This was from Tammy. Another shout out to Tammy. She went to his book signing. And I don't know if that was because of the cheek, but we got a Darryl Green signature. But I'll have to say, there's one time when we're waiting and all the players are going by, and my dad goes, "Hey, do you want that guy?" And it's Rock Cartwright. And I was like, let's not pursue is my thinking. But I said, nah, we're okay. And then Rock Cartwright looks at me and goes, "Would you like a signature?" My dad goes, "Nah." And then he walks away. And he is the NFL player. And my dad says, "Nah." I was like, well, I mean, since he asked, I would have then said yes to having his signature. So after that, he changed his number to number 31. Became one of my favorite players, to be honest. This is it was a fun, just quite literally a rock, like Maurice Jones-Drew, but not as good. Just rock, fun to watch. So all I have to say, I'm so sorry, Rock Cartwright, if you still think about that moment. I'm very sorry.
I'm glad we could share this moment with you, Mark, because I think that's probably a lot that you had to get off of your chest there. So I'm really proud of you.
Very
really
deep.
Proud of you.
Finished very deep.
Yeah. Bookend.
Very cathartic time.
Somber moments. I would say it was very analytical. Anecdotal.
Anecdotal. Yeah. Yes. Glad you brought that back up. I'm really, really appreciative of that.
Sometimes you just got to really emphasize those meteoric rises. So.
Any others?
That's all I got at the moment. So on that note, thank you guys for sharing this moment with us. And go Washington football team. Till next time.
Bye.
Also, hurry up and clear up your schedules so we don't have to do this again. Maybe come up with a better...
We're doing this every week until someone else agrees to come on.
Don't say that. They'll force us to do it. We'll have to make up new personas. All right, this is very done. Long enough. I'll see you guys later.